everybody. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome in to the pre-show before the free show. And across from me is our lovely Greg Tepper.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear me.
Oh.
There
we go.
I still have no me in my ears. Anyway, that's okay. If you can hear me, that's all that matters.
There you go. Now you can hear yourself.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show before the free show. And I've got to get something off my chest. And I got to do it quickly because the pre-show was truncated today.
It was a little bit.
Okay? We got to talk about something.
Okay.
We got to talk about something. Someone that's been given a free ride for too long. Okay? Let's talk about this stupid groundhog.
Oh, my gosh. What's his name? Mr.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Punxsutawney Phil?
Let me tell you something. Punxsutawney Phil is a fraud. He's a rodent grifter, okay? Propped up by pageantry and top hats and absolutely immune from accountability, okay? This dude is shooting 39% from the field. 39%. If you're a quarterback and you completed 39% of your passes, you are out of the league.
Okay.
Okay? He's wrong all the time. And
he's wrong all the time.
There's no consequences for this nerd. Okay? He gets to ruin morale every year, once a year for us. And there's no, how do we get better? If we do something here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football that doesn't work, we come together and say, hey, you know what? How can we do this better? What can we improve upon? With this rodent grifter, he just gets to do the same thing every single year. It's just vibes and woodchucks.
Just vibes and woodchucks.
And by the way, the system is rigged. So you get these 6 people in top hats who go and they speak groundhogese, and they're able to determine what this groundhog's thinking. I don't like it. Okay. Here's the other thing.
Okay.
We've been told that Phil is immortal. Okay? So either there's an 130-year-old groundhog, or there have been multiple Phils and we've been lied to.
Multiple Phils. There probably is multiple Phils.
Here's the other thing.
Okay.
We don't need this in February. I've got enough on my plate. I'm stressed enough to have to worry about some fraudulent hamster in the Northeast. Some Rust Belt hamster. You know how everyone's worried about AI taking their jobs? We have computers, Phil. We don't need you to tell us the weather anymore.
He's still going.
That dude's gotten a free ride for too long, and it's finally time for someone to hold him to account, and I am happy to take on that charge. More like Punxsutawney fraud.
Oh, my gosh. 6 more weeks of winter, my butt.
Get bent, Phil. Hit the theme expo.
Oh, my gosh.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show that just accepts that winter's going to end when it ends. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you are watching us live on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or you listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting here at this desk in the studio, sitting at a different table in a different room. It's the control room. She is our producer for today. Let's all say hello to Vianney Moreno. Hello, Vianney Moreno.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Is that a new camera?
Well, we got some new stuff in here and some new knobs and twistins. And it's a new wheel of water, a new one of those,
What?
You know how we crank the water back here? You've said before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like one of those. It's a new one, so we're having some fun.
Very cool.
Okay.
Today is Thursday, February 5th, 2026. A mere 294 days to Thanksgiving. I don't want to tell you to start preparing for Thanksgiving, but think about it. Maybe do a Thanksgiving postmortem. What worked from Thanksgiving last
I like
year?
that.
Happy birthday. Oh, I didn't look up whose birthday it is.
Adam Scott.
Happy birthday to Adam Scott. What if it was his birthday? Today is the birthday of two very famous soccer players, Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar. Are both have a birthday today. And Adam Scott. Anyway, it is episode 1912. On today's show, folks, we've got a lot to get to. UIL Realignment was on Monday. That's the last time we spoke with you. And we've had about 3 days to soak it in, to really sift through the wreckage of what UIL Realignment has wrought. We will do that with my 10 big thoughts on UIL Realignment. Then we have the distinct pleasure of unveiling the 2025 Whataburger Super Team, honoring the very best and brightest in Texas high school football right here on this very program. That will be coming up here. And then back half of the show, my exclusive one-on-one sit-down with UIL Athletic Director Ray Zapata about UIL Realignment, what he saw, the challenges therein. Really interesting conversation with Ray Zapata. We had very interested for you guys to hear that the back half of the show. Does that all sound good to you?
I think that sounds fantastic.
Okay. Do we have first word through the door?
We do, as I have my computer in front of me. Randy Griffith.
Just say it confidently.
Joey Hill, Tony Blaylock, and Blindside Bassenhoman.
Bassenhoman, yeah, that's Brent Homan. That's our friend.
Yes.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. So, if you go to TexasFootball.com, you will notice that there's a lot of coverage of UIL Realignment, because UIL Realignment has come and gone. Of course, that is when the UIL every other year reshapes the state of Texas high school athletics, and specifically Texas high school football, by redrawing the districts. We've got a great explainer for you on our social media platforms about how that works, why it works, etc. You can go to TexasFootball.com and see all the new districts, all the new regions, all the new classifications of what we will be dealing with for the next 2 years in Texas high school football. So we've now had about 72 hours or so to soak it in, really get a feel for what it is that UIL Realignment has done to us. And I have put together a list, because we all love a list, of 10 big thoughts from UIL Realignment, if I may, Vianney. May I?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I get permission. Thought number one, a big tremor. So I think in UIL Realignment terms, this was not an earthquake. I don't think that this fundamentally reshaped Texas high school football. I don't believe that this was a earth-shattering, gobsmacking, oh my goodness, they've just completely turned Texas high school football on its head. I don't. And I think we've had those in the past. There have been realignments in the past that I think have been more seismic than this. Now, I do want to be very clear. While I don't think this UIL realignment was an earthquake, I do think it was a big tremor. A big tremor. There's a lot of change here. There's going to be some getting used to we have to get into. But I think overall, on a Richter scale where 0 is nothing and 10 is destroying cities, this was a 5, 5.5. Nice little shake. Nice little shake-up. But I don't think this was necessarily anything earth-shattering that has fundamentally reshaped the Texas high school football landscape. That's how I think overall it is. Thought number 2, zoom out. And you're going to hear this a lot from the UIL because I think UIL realignment is a very interesting and intriguing Rorschach test into how you consume Texas high school football. Because look, if you're a fan of a team, invariably, you're going to get the UIL realignment packet, and the first thing you're going to do is look for your team in your district. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, my team is in this district. And you might look around and say, well, I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know how much sense that necessarily makes. Like, why do they do that? My opinion is that the more you zoom out, the more sense it makes. The more you zoom in, the less sense it makes. And here's what I mean. The UIL creates this because they have to, when they do realignment, they have to have a statewide perspective. They have to make everything across the state fit. They are not looking particularly at your team's district. That is a piece of a larger puzzle. And it's important to look at the larger puzzle. And so I'm not saying the UIL batted 1,000. I'm not saying I agree with everything the UIL did. And there are certainly, you can read a number of coaches who feel like they don't understand their team's alignment, et cetera, et cetera. I do think that you get more clues the more you zoom out. And the more you take a look holistically at the things that matter. I will give you an example. I think one of the most consequential things that happened in this UIL realignment is that there was no Houston ISD 6A district. And you're thinking, who cares? I am in San Antonio. That doesn't matter to me. But it does, because what ends up happening is that a district opens up in Region 3, it's usually District 20. Everything kind of shifts down, and that is how you get an Austin area district in Region 3. All of these things have to fit together. And again, I'm not here to say that the UIL hit a home run and there's no notes. There's certainly some things I would have done differently. What I will say is, in my experience, the more you zoom out, the more clarity you get on these types of things. Number 3, regional jumble. I will say that if there was an earthquake in Texas high school football UIL realignment this year, it was by region. What I mean by that is, we explained it, the first quarter of the districts are in Region 1, second quarter, Region 2, 3, 4. So in Class 6A, districts 1 through 8 is Region 1, districts 9 through 16, Region 2. In the divisions, like 5A Division 1, districts 1 through 4, Region 1, districts 5 through 8, Region 2, et cetera, et cetera. 206 teams changed regions. 206. That's more than 16% of all UIL Texas high school football teams. Not just changed districts, they changed regions. And in some instances, they flipped sides of the bracket. And let me put it to you this way. Yes, 206 teams changed district or changed regions. 39 teams that won 10 games last year. I think we can all agree if you won 10 games, you had a pretty good year. 39 of those teams changed regions. 39. Here is a list. Ready? North Crowley, Austin Vandergrift, Cy Ranch, Austin Anderson, Port Neches Groves, Brenham, Victoria West, Stephenville, Kilgore, Alvarado, Springtown, Lindale, Waco, La Vega, Athens, Canton, Yoakum, Llano, Edna, Edgewood, Cisco, Frankston, Jewett-Leon, Mason, Bremond, Lindsay, Collinsville, Chilton, Gordon, Rankin, Aquila, Gilmer, Union Hill, May, Menard, Richland Springs, Three-Way, Ladonia, Fanindel, Benjamin, Cherokee, Zephyr. Those are all teams that won 10 games a year ago that will be in a different region this year. And by the way, those teams that I just mentioned, it's not like they changed classifications. They only changed regions. That is what's most remarkable. There were some major regional shakeups here. Number 4, lessons learned. One of the things that, as I dug into UIL realignment and compared it to last UIL realignment back in 2024, I think, especially in 5A, the UIL heard some of the pushback and heard some of the criticisms and listened. For example, one of the big headlines last year was Port Neches Groves moving from Region 3 to Region 2. Well, guess where they are? Back in Region 3. One of the big questions was Liberty Hill sliding over to Region 3. Well, guess what? They're back in Region 4. Lufkin was sent to the DFW Metroplex. They appealed, ended up going south. This time, the UIL just sent them south. I think the UIL heard the complaints, to be real frank. And I think that they listened. Because the more I look at this, the more I think that they took some of the things that they heard a lot about, and a lot of the wailing and gnashing of teeth that they heard, and they said, okay, we hear you. We're going to adjust it. Now, that had other ripple effects, but I think that that is something that's interesting. Soft landings. Let's talk about teams that changed classifications, that moved up in classification, that in my mind ended up having a relatively decent draw, considering they're moving up. The headline, I think, is Aledo. Aledo moves up to 6A for the first time, and I think overall, the Bearcats have got to be pretty pleased with how things worked for them. Aledo ends up in a district. We knew they were going to be in a district with Weatherford and Granbury. That's not a surprise. To be instead with Arlington ISD instead of perhaps Crowley ISD and Mansfield ISD, or even going north, I think that was a nice win for them. Another soft landing. I think Fort Bend Crawford got a nice little draw. Fort Bend Crawford, a relatively new program down there, moving up to 5A Division II. They land in a district with Fort Bend Marshall, who's looking for a new coach, Victoria West, Lamar Consolidated, teams from Lamar Consolidated ISD. I think that in that kind of crowded Houston area, I think Fort Bend Crawford landed okay, all things considered. I think Corsicana Mildred, if you go down to the 3A ranks, I think Corsicana Mildred landed okay. Remember, they're moving up from 2A Division I to 3A Division II. They land with Tig, Buffalo, Blooming Grove, Elkhart in District 11, 3A Division II. I think that's a pretty good landing there for the Eagles. And finally, I think Ponder landed okay. Remember, Ponder's moving up from 3A Division I to 4A Division II. They're moving from a very tough district. And look, I'm not saying that Crum and Sanger are going to be any picnic, but I think overall, Ponder, even by moving up, landed okay as far as realignment is concerned. There are teams that I think had soft landings. Thought number 6, and hard landings. Let's talk about the other side. Teams that moved down, but I think things got significantly tougher for them. I'll go to the 6-man ranks. Bro, go look at 5-1A Division I. Okay? Or rather, Klondike, they're moving up. These teams that are moving up that I think landed pretty severely. Klondike and Sands moving up from 1A Division II to 1A Division I. Your reward, Borden County, Westbrook, Ira, perhaps the most loaded district in 6-man football. Tough landing. Early's moving up from 3A Division II to 3A Division I, and your reward is you get Wall, the reigning 3A Division II state champs, moving up, and you get Lano, a team that played exceptional last year, played into a regional final, played in a state semifinal, rather. And then, by the way, you also get Ingram Moore, who was a team that surprised everybody last year and had maybe their best year in program history. Yeah, not a great landing there for Early. What about Crosby? Poof. Crosby, that's pretty tough. Crosby, if you didn't know, ended up landing in what you could probably, we'll talk about them in a little bit, the District of Doom. They land in District 17, 6A. Summer Creek, North Shore, CE King, and Atascocita. Plus Kingwood. Oof. Tough for the Cougars. And finally, Carrollton ISD. Specifically, if you look at District 6-5A Division I, they get in there with Highland Park and Richland, Duke Creekview and Smith and Turner. Tough landing there, I think, for them. What about new Districts of Doom? Number 7, new Districts of Doom. I think, obviously, District 17, 6A is going to be still, you've got North Shore and CE King in there. 11, 6A, obviously, pretty big doings. You can go on TexasFootball.com and see this. The number of teams that have, or I believe Carter Yates wrote about this, the number of the new Districts of Doom. But 11, I still think 17-6A is the toughest district in Class 6A. I look at 13-5A Division 2. Bernie, Liberty Hill, Alamo Heights. That's tough. I look at 8-4A Division 2. You're adding in Pleasant Grove to a Carthage district plus Gilmer. I think 11-4A Division 1 is tough. Bay City, El Campo, Sealy. Brutal. There's some new districts of doom out there. We're going to talk more and more about them as the offseason progresses. Number 8, non-district challenges. And what I mean by that is you're starting to get schedules get set because now you know how many teams in your district. And one of the things that I think flies under people's radar in the buzz of UIL realignment is the number of teams in your district. This can go both ways. If you have 10 teams in your district, that's 9 district games. You only got to find 1 non-district game. Now that can be a challenge. Teams like South Oak Cliff, for example, is now in an 8-team district or a 9-team district, I should say. They will only get 2 non-district games. We all know what has happened to South Oak Cliff in district play. They have been dominant. And as a result, Jason Todd likes to schedule tough teams. To get those teams ready, they will only have 2 chances this year. That's tough. On the flip side, go consider what's happening in District 2-6A, which is the Little Southwest Conference. It's now a 5-team district. Midland Legacy, soon to be Midland Lee. Odessa Permian, St. Angelo Central. Those teams have to find 6 non-district games. And there's just not going to be a lot of takers in week 6 because teams are going to be in district play. That's one of the challenges, I think, that these coaches are facing across the state. Thought number 9, new must-see matchups. So I just took a look, and this is a brief list of new district games, not existing ones. Like Lake Travis and Westlake is still going to happen, right? Lake Travis and Westlake is still going to happen. Here are new district games that right now, sitting here February 5th, I'm fired up about. Prosper and Prosper Walnut Grove, District 6-6A. Juicy. Duncanville and North Crowley. I don't need to sell you on that one. 11-6, that's going to be great. How about this one that flew under the radar? Dickinson and Barbers Hill. Dickinson and Barbers Hill is tasty in 18-6A. Frisco Lone Star will play Melissa in 5-5A Division 1 play. Get into that. How about Port Arthur Memorial and LaPorte in 9-5A D1? Angleton and Richmond Randall, I am ready for right now. District 11, 5A D1. That's going to be a fun game. We mentioned them again. Liberty Hill taking on Alamo Heights. Great stuff. That is a regional final type game. Carthage and Pleasant Grove. In the district, again, it's going to be fun. Gunner and Pottsboro. Gunner moving up to 3A Division 1. They will get Pottsboro in District 5, 3A Division 1 play. That'll be great. Columbus and Edna. I believe this might have been a 2024 regional final. Now it's a district game. Blanco and Poth. That was a shocker when Blanco moved over into the Poth district. 15-3A Division 2. That'll be fun. Dilion and Cisco in a newly reloaded Region 2 of 2A Division 1. Dilion and Cisco is going to be fun. How about Shiner Ganado in 15-2A D1? I am into that. Groover and Stinnett, West Texas. These were 2 state semifinalists that are going to play a district game. Water Valley and Menard in the 6-man ranks. This will be a fun one in 1A Division 1. And flying under the radar, Gordon and May was a state semifinal last year. State semifinal? Yeah, I think that's right. Or a regional final. It's a regional final. Now they're in the same district. Gordon and May. That will be a ton of fun. Those are some new must-see district matchups. It'll be a ton of fun. Finally, thought number 10, it's not quite over. One of the things that I think people may not realize or perhaps forget about, because it happens every 2 years, you have to refresh yourself on the rules. But it's not, now that UIL realignment is here, it's not quite over. Because there is an appeals process. And there's 2 different kinds of appeals, okay? There's one appeal that the UIL is not involved in. Okay? If Lake Dallas decides they don't want to be in their district, they want to move to a different district. If the district that they're in says that they can leave, and all of the other districts, all the other teams in the district they want to join say, yeah, that's good, it's done. UIL has no say in it. They just move to that. The other one is where teams appeal. There is someone throws a red flag and says, we don't want this, at which point it would go in front of the appeals committee. There could still be some shifts. Remember, there were some shifts last year. There always are a couple teams that appeal. Will it happen? There's still some moving parts. We're not quite certain who's appealing what quite yet, but we will keep an eye on everything because UIL realignment has come and gone. The new slate of Texas high school football landscape is set for the most part, and we will, of course, be covering it all offseason long leading up to football season in the fall. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hey, V&A.
Hey, Tepper.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Whataburger are proud to honor the best and brightest stars in Texas high school football with the announcement of the 2025 Whataburger Super Team. Texas high school football fans across the state cast more than 600,000 votes on TexasFootball.com. 600,000. And 40 outstanding athletes from all parts of Texas rose to the top to be named with this unique honor. This is all fan voted, guys. This is the team the fans wanted to put together, and I think they did a pretty good job. Your 2025 Whataburger Super Team. On offense, quarterback Keyshawn Henderson from Spring Legacy School of Sports Sciences. Running back Kagan Ash from Mount Enterprise. Running back DK Garza from Alamo Heights. Wide receiver and tight end Davian Gross from Frisco Lone Star. Wide receiver and tight end Chase Campbell from Wolf of Friendship. Wide receiver and tight end Brock Boyd from South Lake Carroll. Offensive lineman Keegan Collins from Canyon West Plains. Offensive lineman from Prosper, Zayden Crimpin. Offensive lineman from North Crowley, John Turntine III. Offensive lineman from Mansfield Lake Ridge, Felix Ojo. Offensive lineman from Port Neches Groves, Aaron Wolford. Kicker, Andre Salazar from San Antonio Reagan. And there were 4 utility spots on offense. Ethan Feaster from DeSoto. Landon Williams-Callis from Richmond Randall. Jermaine Bishop from Willis. And Ernie Powers from El Paso Franklin. The 2025 Whataburger Super Team defense. On the defensive line, Lake Travis's Carter Buck. Duncanville's Landon Barnes. Smithson Valley's Hudson Woods. Katy at the linebacker spot. Katie's Jeremiah Smith. Port Arthur Memorial linebacker Tank King. Carthage linebacker DeQuivis Beck. In the secondary, defensive back Marcel Gibson from South Oak Cliff. Waco Conley defensive back Jamarian Vincent. Temple defensive back Jason Bradford. Houston Lamar defensive back Robert McFarland. And at the punter spot, Colt James from Palestine. There are 4 utility members on the defense. Colton Dirth from Stephenville. Caleb Menard from Orangefield. Noah Lewis from Terrell. And Preston Hall from Fort Bend Ridgepoint. Of course, there are also 10 other players selected as Whataburger Super Team Fans' Choice. These are basically the guys who had the most number of votes after the Super Team was named. So at quarterback, Legend Bay from North Forney. At running back, KJ Edwards from Carthage. At wide receiver and tight end, Jalen Lott from Frisco Panther Creek. Offensive lineman Vincent Johnson from Sulphur Springs. Defensive lineman Alistair Vallejo from Liberty Hill. Linebacker Kosi Akpala from Katy Maid Creek. Defensive back LeBron Bauer from Allen. Kicker Robert Gonzalez from Edinburgh Vela. And punter Levi Patton from Lubbock Christian. So there it is, the 2025 Whataburger Super Team, entirely fan voted on TexasFootball.com. More than 600,000 votes cast on TexasFootball.com. I think you guys did a pretty good job, got to be honest.
I think so, too.
I think it's pretty darn good. Coming up here after the break, we had the opportunity to sit down with an exclusive one-on-one with UIL Athletic Director Ray Zepeda talk a little bit about UIL realignment. But first, Vianney, do you know, we talked in the pre-show about Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog?
Yes.
And what a fraud he is? Right?
Oh, I have a question, or I have a thing in final thoughts that I'll bring up later.
Do you know who I think is the farthest thing from Punxsutawney Phil?
What?
These goods and services.
Pour some sunshine with new First Light Community Coffee's first ever light roast. This blend has notes of honey and brown sugar that will brighten any part of your day. Try First Light now at communitycoffee.com.
Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Friday night football is here, and Hometown is trusted by thousands of schools across the nation to make game days effortless. Sell tickets online, easily scan them at the gate, track sales in real time, and keep your community connected with a free athletic website. Make every game a Hometown game. Visit hometown.com to learn more.
One Texas high school will win bragging rights and a $5,000 award in the Texas Department of Transportation's Saved by the Belt Challenge. Students, all you need to do is go to texasfootball.com and pledge to always wear your seatbelt. Every seat, every ride, every day, and every night. The school with the most pledges will win. Buckling up can save you an expensive ticket and even your life. Click it or ticket.
Every legend starts with a vision. For Dave Campbell, that vision was clear. Tell the story of Texas football like never before. In 1960, he built something no one had before, a magazine that became the Bible of Texas football. Coaches, players, and fans didn't just read it, they lived by it. His words shaped the game. His vision built a legacy. And his name? It will always be written in the story of Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, where legends begin.
So pleased to be joined by the athletic director of the UIL, Ray Zepeda. Thanks so much for your time. I know today's a busy day.
Oh, it's a very busy day, but it's always good to have you in the building.
I want to ask you about the process of putting together a realignment, and specifically the all-hands-on-deck notion around here, because it seems like everyone in this building has a hand in helping make this realignment possible.
Well, I wouldn't say everybody, but it seems like that at certain times. I do think it's a very challenging process given the size and scope of our state, and being able to involve, I think, as many staff members as possible. You know, we're blessed to have staff members from different geographic areas of the state, and I think getting their opinions, getting their input helps us to come up with a better product.
Let's talk a little bit about this realignment and specifically how it's different from past realignments and the challenges. I know that everyone is a blank slate. Everyone, you want to go in there and do the best job that you can. What in particular about this realignment made it challenging?
I really think the story of this realignment are really the fluctuations in enrollment, the movers up and down, the changes that are happening in our larger metro areas of schools losing enrollment, and then conversely in the suburban areas, some schools gaining enrollments. And so I think that created some challenges for us that were very unique to this process, and then also understanding that as all these changes were taking place in our major metro areas, you still have people living in our rural areas that you need to account for in the process. And so I think those enrollment fluctuations really kind of drove the challenge of this alignment. We
were in the map room earlier today and looking at the different shapes. I know that you can look at some of the shapes specifically with outliers and say, wow, that looks strange. That looks strange. From your perspective, when you look at those shapes, how much of the process goes through your mind of saying, okay, yes, that may look a little bit wacky, but actually there's a whole method to this whole thing?
I think the thing that you realize is those outliers on the map have been heavily discussed many times over, because those things that you might see at a first read of the map are things that we've been talking about for months and trying to make sure that we're landing on the best option for those folks. I do think Dr. Harrison always says you got to really consider the entire scope of the map, when you're making these decisions. And I would just ask that people give us a little bit of grace and kind of look, whole to part as they're making their evaluation of the decisions that we made.
And we talked with Dr. Harrison about this, but I'm interested in hearing from you about the input that you get from schools, because one of the things I've learned over the past couple of alignments is how much you guys are in touch with these schools, both outgoing, asking them questions, and them coming to you and providing that kind of input.
Well, I've experienced that on really both sides of the fence. As being an athletic director for many, many years, I got to see that firsthand. One of the things that I've appreciated by the time that I got here to the UIL, they've moved to a gradual release of information. And I think that's really promoted the communication process, being able to have enrollments released so that everybody can absorb that and see what the impact might be on them. Then the conference cutoffs being released. Each of those touch points allows for communication throughout the process. And really, since November, we've had ongoing communication with our schools that have informed final decisions that were made.
And this is obviously a big day for high school football across the state. We all love high school football, but it's also a big day for all the other sports the UIL, overseas. Can you take us through? I know there's a lot of changes and a lot of variables that go into that. Can you take us through what we can see and expect on the other maps, volleyball, basketball, things like that?
Well, obviously, we've gone to a little bit different playoff format the last few years in those other sports, a split division format. And so trying to balance out as much as we can, utilizing some of the software that we have between Division I and Division II schools as best we can in some of those volleyball and basketball districts to try to get the best balance that we can. I think this was something that came into play this year, maybe unlike other years. I do think you also see that having 32 options of districts, like in basketball and volleyball, allow you to have a greater flexibility than when, let's say, in our split classification format that we have in football, where you have to divide the entire state by 16. I think that makes it very, very difficult with some of the decisions that we have, and I think you appreciate that extra flexibility.
All right, and I got to ask you, as somebody who works on a 400-page magazine for months and months and is ready to see that thing out the door, are you tired of looking at the maps? Are you ready for people to have it?
Absolutely. I think that's been one full-time job since November, just working on alignment, as we're managing the other aspects of our professional positions. And so to have this out in the public, and whether good or bad, I think we're really excited to move on to the next thing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
There it is. Ray Zepeda, Athletic Director of the UIL. We were gracious enough to grant us some of his time as UIL Realignment is out. You can see that interview, and by the way, an extended interview with Jamie Harrison, Dr. Jamie Harrison, the UIL Athletic Director. Executive Director, on our YouTube page. So go check that out. Let's go to V&A Moreno for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
Oh, hey, guys.
Hey.
I do want to add something to your groundhog activities from the pre-show.
My rant.
Your rant. Your Mr. Fraud, or Mr. What's his name?
Punxsutawney Phil.
Punxsutawney
Fraud.
So our lovely friend who goes by the name of Austin and also goes by Goof.
Sup, Goof?
He told me to tell you, let Tepper know the Bee Cave Armadillo has a better prediction record and is from Texas.
Let me tell you something. If you ever needed proof that we just do it better around here, the Bee Cave Armadillo is the way to go. Now, look, I want to be clear. I think that all of these animals should get out of the meteorology business. There should be no rodents involved in meteorology. But
how did that even start?
People, I really can't stress enough to you, V&A, how bored people were. People just said stuff and did it, like, for no reason. Perfect example is this dumb groundhog. We're letting a gerbil determine our weather, or tell us that it's determining our weather, and then suddenly, again, 39% hit rate. If the picks rolled out any week, pick a week, and I was at 39%, I would expect Brooke Miller to walk in here and fire me. She'd be like, that's it. You suck at this. And the issue is accountability. Like, this groundhog never has to answer for its wrong predictions. If you're like, my favorite weatherman around here is Rick Mitchell. Okay? If Rick Mitchell is wrong, he'll come out here and be like, hey, by the way, that's all me. I got it wrong. Right? Yeah, accountability. There's no accountability. This guy's going to go away for another year until they put his stupid top hat on him again. Punxsutawney Phil is a grifter.
Oh, my gosh.
And we, as humans, have the ability to put a stop to this nonsense.
There's no consequences. He just gets
none.
Gets to say whatever he
wants. Gets a free ride. Cancel Punxsutawney Phil. It's going to do it for us. Okay. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Ray Zepeda, Athletic Director of the UIL, for hopping on with us briefly. For V&A Moreno, I'm Greg Tepper. We will see you Monday on Texas Football Today.
Bye.